today I am the presenter, but as you all know, I'm also the lesser half of the program's co-chair of NAWBO. So thank you all for joining. And we're all fairly familiar with each other today. So I think this will, do we need to really go through all the introductions? We could do that very quickly if we wanted to. But I feel like we all, if there's anybody here that nobody knows, then we can ask, but I think we're good.
All right.
Um, this will be a little bit more of an untraditional lunch and learn, which is perfect for December. So, of course, I'm Morgan. You see it here on Zoom. I'm with Beauty. So a little bit about me, and the purpose for today's lunch and learn. So I am an esthetician and makeup artist. I've been doing it for 18 years, and I've had my brick and mortar Beauty for the last almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in April. And for me, one of the things that I really enjoy doing is helping women feel and look their best. And as Kim mentioned, I don't ever want to have somebody walk out of my chair looking like a complete different version of themselves. That is not my style. That is not my brand. And if I have clients that want that, I basically tell them I'm not the artist for them. I like to elevate and enhance someone's appearance. And that can easily be done with makeup. And it does not need to be this crazy YouTube, 30 million products and steps. Listen, we're all very busy women. I can do a full face of my own in about my normal face about 5 minutes. When I beat my face or do full glam, it takes me about 20, but that's just because I like to take my time. But with clients, it does take me an hour. So don't get that construed. I also take my time with clients. So people always think that when they sit in my chair, it's going to take me 20 minutes to do their makeup. That is false. But that doesn't mean it's because I'm, doing a bunch of crazy things. It's different when it's someone else's space, right? But for today, what I thought we could do is, of course, it's the holiday season. So I want to give you ladies some easy, quick techniques that, again, we can use to just elevate, enhance our makeup routine. But also I want to be here for you. So if there is something that you have a question about, or you want help with, or you've seen or heard or tried and you have questions, please put that in the chat and I will definitely answer your questions as well. So if there's something that's been burning and you're just like, I showed up today because I want to learn X, Y, and Z, please let me know because I'm here for you ladies as well. But so one of the things that I really actually very much enjoy doing is doing makeup lessons. So if any of you are after this class, this quick 45-minute whatever, want to do that, I'm also here for a lesson. And I have done it from people who show up with a Ziploc bag, not kidding, about this big, of a couple of products, to somebody who showed up with like a full case, like caboodle style, like wide open, and brought their entire makeup. And I've taught people that are teens and tweens. And I just recently had a makeup lesson with the cutest 83-year-old woman who just wanted to feel pretty when she left her house. And I thought that was beautiful. She also said she wanted to look like me. And I was like, well, that's probably not going to be possible, but I can enhance. She just said she wanted to look pretty for her husband too, which I thought was so cute. So cute. Anyways, and she had no idea and brought things and it was great. So I can help anybody and everyone, and not everyone is the same. But I will share with you guys some tricks today that is very, very universal. It's just we all just will look at our faces a little differently. So let's see. So Corlin said, are you familiar with Jones Day makeup? Do you mean Jones Road?
Yeah, Jones Road, sorry. Like it's really talking to me about like with like the whole older skin traffic, blah blah blah.
Yes.
Like it's
Yeah.
really captivating me.
Yes. So Jones Road, and if you didn't know, is Bobbi Brown. So that's Bobbi Brown's new makeup line. And so obviously Bobbi Brown is very much known for mature makeup looks, and keeping it really simple. A lot of her stuff is cream based, which is huge right now, just for that more of that glowing skin, and also just more dehydrated, drier, mature skin, which I hate to use that term, but mature skin is a little different than those young, plump 11-year-olds like my stepdaughter. So Then let's see. Kim asks, I'm confused about face makeup. I tend to use tinted moisturizer, but it feels too thick. Interesting, because tinted moisturizer is probably the lightest thing that you could use. So I'll share with you some, different. And again, I'm not obviously I don't rep a brand. I'm not here to promote brands, but I can use my knowledge of what I have used or heard of to help navigate that. Because yeah, makeup, there's like, I don't even know how many brands these days. Um, and so I can help kind of navigate what you're feeling and what might be better for you. And then Tracy said, I'm not a makeup person because this is my friend. Yeah, girl. Every little step I take. So Bobby Brown is that man, as well as a famous makeup artist who sold her brand and then had a non-compete and couldn't do it. Then she came up with Jones Road. All right. So the first thing I want to share with you guys today is our makeup is, or well, let me backtrack. Our skin is our foundation. It would not behoove me to not talk about prepping our skin prior to makeup application. A lot of things that I get from clients is it feels too thick. My makeup disappears. It looks cakey. I have wrinkles. It enhances my wrinkles, all the things. Well, that's why with me being an esthetician and a makeup artist, I can kind of wear two different hats. And I always tell my clients as with painting a wall, as with cooking, as with building a house, it's all about the foundation. It is all about your base. Okay, so we really want to focus on prepping our skin properly. So when you are doing makeup, it is important to do a few key things. The first one, of course, is to cleanse your face. I can't tell you how many weddings I've done where the bridesmaid comes with her day old makeup on and I'm like spending 20 minutes trying to remove her makeup, which is just not going to create a great base. We are all here around the same age range. I'm going to say mid 30s to probably mid 50s, right? What I tell a lot of my clients in this age range is in the morning, if you've cleansed your face properly at night, don't cleanse it again in the morning. Okay, so what I do and what I recommend is you're going to focus more of your skincare at night, because when our skin is in the resting phase, our circadian rhythm is resting, it's rejuvenating. So you want to do most of your potent skincare at night, meaning your retinols, your resurfacing agents. You don't want to do any type of retinols or resurfacing during the day, because we are exposed to the sun, things like that. So at night, I know we're tired, ladies. I know. When you come home, what is the first thing you want to do? Take off your bra and your shoes. Do that, but after doing that, wash your face. So just shoes off, bra off, face washed. Okay. That's like the biggest thing. The biggest thing I can help you with is in that order. Because most people are like, oh, by the end, I just get too tired and I just go to bed and I don't wash my face. Not washing your face ages you, they say, they say it ages you about 10 years every time you don't wash your face. So just keep that in the back of your mind, okay? If I don't wash my face, it is aging me 10 years. So at night, wash your face. And when I say wash your face, I mean twice. Even if you're like Kim, who does not wear a lot of makeup, still cleanse it twice. I say it's like putting your dishes in the dishwasher, right? Before we put them in the dishwasher, we rinse them off. We break up that dirt and debris. Then we put them in the dishwasher to actually get cleansed. It's the same thing with our face. We want to use our first cleanse, and that cleanser could be a gel cleanser, an oil-based cleanser, or a creamy-based cleanser based on your skincare. But you want to start with cleansing your face for about 30 seconds. And I count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I mean, I'm 30 seconds. Then I rinse, and then I repeat. You can use a washcloth. Make sure you wash it. You only use it a couple of times and then put it in the laundry. You can use a cleansing brush. There's a lot of things on the market. Or you can just use your fingers, but you really want to do both times 30 seconds each. That's called a double cleanse. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, but it's a double cleanse. So that will really help to cleanse your skin. Then you're going to follow through with your normal skincare. Again, we're all of the same age range. If you're not using an eye cream, that needs to be the number one thing that you add to cart after this call. because that will help with any creasing under the eye area as well. So this is all at night. So we've cleansed, we do our eye creams. If you use any type of serum, again, maybe your retinols, maybe your hyaluronic acids, a hydrating serum, whatever serum. If you're not using a serum, we can talk about that on another call, or you can ask me at another event, and I can recommend based on your skincare, because serums are what change the skin. They have the highest concentration of active ingredients, so it's going to help change your skin. And then you're going to moisturize. Moisturizers just lock in that moisture, really help to hydrate the skin. They don't really change the skin. I know we are all marketed to having these collagen creams and this cream and that cream, but that's not, moisturizers aren't meant to do that. The serums are. Okay, so then we've done that at night. Then we go to sleep. And then in the morning, we wake up. Don't do, again, I'm all about saving time. Splash your face with water, reapply some eye cream. If you have a daytime serum, maybe a vitamin C, maybe another, again, a hyaluronic acid, an antioxidant serum, and then your sunscreen SPF, or excuse me, your SPF moisturizer combo. Because even though we may be inside, you want to have sunscreen. They're saying now that the blue light from our computers, obviously fluorescent lighting, we are driving, just always wear a sunscreen. I'm in a treatment room that is dark 90% of the day, and I still wear a sunscreen. So it can be a combo, moisturizer, sunscreen in one. I know, daytime and nighttime. I know. That's a lot. If you're like, I don't know which one to use, just use it nighttime, because again, nighttime serums are what's going to help the most. All right. So then we've prepped our skin. Okay. So notice I haven't even gotten to makeup. That's okay, Tracy. Not using a serum, we'll maybe add that to cart, later on. So now we've helped to prep our skin. I don't typically, how many people have heard of a primer, like a face primer? Yeah. Okay. I typically don't use a primer unless I'm going to an event, or I want my makeup to stay on all day, or, and I might just use it strategically. But a primer is a good product to use to prime the skin. Think of it again. We're like priming a wall. We are filling in any little areas of concern. So if you're like, I have very large pores on my nose, or I get really shiny in my forehead right after I've done my makeup, or I feel like my makeup falls right off, a primer is a good thing to use. And I'm just looking in my jar or my bag of tricks here to kind of throw out some names. Tatcha is a really good primer. It's great it's very lightweight. So I do like this if you feel like you don't want a lot of heaviness. And I just use it literally in my T-zone area, my forehead, my nose. And that's really the only area. Oh, did I lose everybody? No?
No, I just spotlighted you so we could see you better.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was like, did I lose everybody? So Tatcha is a good one. The Canvas, this is a really popular one. It's very lightweight, but a little tiny bit goes a long way. And that's what I find a lot of people do, is they use too much primer, and then their makeup slipping and sliding everywhere. This one is like more of a glow primer. It's by Sia. Great if you have more drier skin, or you maybe want more of that dewy look on your skin. This one's an oldie but goodie. Oh god, like a little bit. This is called Spackle, but it is a hydrating primer. So again, we are all the same age range, so using something that's a little bit more hydrating is going to be really good for your skin. But again, I don't typically use a primer all the time, just when I'm maybe wanting my makeup to stay put. Some other things that women have issues with is dark circles, right? Your eyelids might have changed over time. So you're kind of thinking, what should I do to enhance or to diminish my dark circles? Maybe my eyelids have gotten a little heavier and I want to make my eyes look more open. Loss of collagen. So maybe my face, especially after the holidays, is feeling a little bit more plump and not in the right way. Maybe I want to contour it a little bit. So those are the things that I get asked a lot of questions about. And so we'll kind of address those today. And I'm looking at my notes that I took. So if you see me looking off screen. So the one thing about under eyes is probably the biggest concern of most of my clients. So this area under here is what I'm talking about, in case you didn't know. Our under eye area is different skin than the rest of our face. Okay. So that is why I recommend an eye cream and not just using your moisturizer up to your under eyes. How many of you tend to just use the one moisturizer and no eye cream? Okay. Yes. Everybody needs to add an eye cream to cart because, again, our under eye skin does not have oil glands like the rest of our face. It's much, much thinner than the rest of our face. And we need to treat it a little bit differently because, again, it does highlight those wrinkles a little bit more. So that is the number one thing. If people are like, I get really creasy under my eyes, my concealer always looks really dry and dehydrated, it's typically because they're not using an eye cream. And the minute we add that in there, it's like chef's kiss. So when you're prepping your skin, you want to wait about 30 seconds before you go right into your makeup. You want to make sure your skin feels like skin and not product. Does that make sense? Okay. If I'm talking too fast, let me know. So I usually will do my skincare, then I'll maybe go make a cup of coffee or get dressed or whatever the case may be. And then or I call Olivia and my hair's in a turban and like I walk from my room to my hall to my front room to do my makeup. She usually gets ready with me on Mondays. So that's about the span of time. Again, you want to feel skin, not skincare when you're doing before your makeup. Another thing that can help you with under eye area is a corrector. Has anybody heard of a corrector or not know what a corrector is? Okay, so you've heard of a corrector. Great. I will share for some of you who have not heard of that. I will show you a very extreme version of a corrector and then a not so extreme version of a corrector. Well, yeah. So this is an extreme version of a corrector. So something that is more of an orange base, okay? So this would obviously be for a deeper skin tone. This would be a corrector for a deeper skin tone. But when I'm correcting, sometimes I'm using something that is extremely orange based. And that helps to correct the under eye discoloration. So correctors help to neutralize our undertones. So our undertones are when we might see that somebody's like, I am more blue, or I'm more like, I just feel like I look really cool or neutral. What you can do to find out what you are is you take your wrists. This is the easiest thing. And you look at your veins. And if your veins are really green, you're more on the warm side. If your veins are really blue, you're on the cool side. If they're both, or you can't tell, then you're probably more neutral. And it's always safe. Everybody's, can have a little neutral in their life and be okay. A lot of my things in my kit are more of a neutral undertone because I can add warmth or, cool it down with correctors or enhancers. So I am more of a neutral because I have green and I have blue. That is your undertone. So when you're looking for makeup, you want to look for things, whether you have blue, you want to look for things that are more cool. And they're going to look literally more like bluish, violet, those kinds of colors in the bottle. When we're talking more warm, hold on, Corlin. When we're talking more warm, we're looking for more orangey base, red base. It is definitely easier to gauge that when you're looking at lipsticks, like a red. Like if a red's really bluish red, then you're like, that's a cool red. But if it's more of that orangey brick red, that's more of a warm red. Does that make sense? Here's some extreme examples of correctors. This is literally a correcting palette. This is another version of orange. So for my lighter skin tones, my medium skin tones, this is what I would use to correct an under eye that is more of a, have to think about this for a second, more of a blue undertone. So if people have just that real dark circles, the best example I can give for a visual is Indian descent have that really dark under eye that's more of a bluish purpley undertone. This color, the orange, is really going to help cancel that. If somebody had really extreme purple or bruising, this yellow would really help to correct that. Corlin, you had a question?
Yeah, so what if you have like a naturally red, like a reddish complexion?
Mm-hmm.
I know you're talking about under eye, so I'm just wondering like
Yeah.
correct.
So for red, so we think of the color wheel too, and that's really where I'm pulling this from. You think of the color wheel, what's opposite of the color wheel? The opposite of red on the color wheel is green. So that's why you've seen a lot of people with that green craziness. Now, green is the hardest thing to neutralize when it comes to makeup. So when I have somebody who is really red or maybe has rosacea or something like that, or is really sunburned, I'm going to go in with just a little bit of green, or a lot of primers. Maybe there's some primers out there that have a green base to them, but they kind of dissipate when it's applied to the skin. You don't want to just go in with like straight green, because then you'll spend all day trying to hide that green and you don't want to look like Shrek or the Hulk. So what I would do is either I look for a primer or even a moisturizer. Some moisturizers now have a green base to them to help neutralize the redness in the skin, or I would take a green corrector and I would mix that with a little bit of concealer to just put on my areas of redness. If you have a really big pimple, popping a little green on there will just neutralize it immediately. Or I have some examples here. Again, these are shades 1 and 2. Charlotte Tilbury, her correctors are incredible. I have it in every shade from 1, 2, 3 to all the way up to 4, I think is her deepest tone. And that's like a really dark orange. These do actually help correct redness as well. These are like my ultimate correctors. So I can just pop these under the eyes. I can put them on areas of redness and it neutralizes the redness immediately. And sometimes I don't even need to put anything else over it in terms of concealer. Correctors are not concealers. So some people are like, okay, well, if I have a corrector, do I need a concealer? Or I'm just using concealer, but my under eyes still show through. And that's because a concealer is just a thicker pigment of foundation. It's not necessarily neutralizing that undertone. It's just adding more coverage. So most of the time that undertone will still shine through. Have I lost anybody? Are we all good? Okay, cool. So what you want to, how I recommend putting on these correctors is with more of a fluffy brush. So a fluffy brush, this is a natural bristled brush. I do not like to use the traditional concealers, and I'll tell you why, because this just packs on too much. Whereas this one's very gentle for the under eye area, but it also helps to blend. When in doubt, blend it out. So with my corrector, a tiny bit will go a very long way. I like to put, even on myself, I will take my corrector, put it in the pot, and I'll put it on my hand first, because I kind of want to warm it up a little bit instead of going straight to my under eye area. This is going to help warm it up, which will help to shear it out a little bit and blend it out a little bit. So you're not like sitting there for hours trying to blend. Again, I'm trying to give us some time-saving tips to help blend this out really quickly. And you just want to put the corrector where you want to diminish the undertones. Okay, so if you have dark circles, if you have a pimple, if you have bruising, which I hope you're not bruised on your face, but maybe you fell or maybe something happened and you have a bruise, then you would want to go in with like a yellow or a corrector and correct that first. I've used a corrector just to cover up tattoos as well. You know, some brides have a huge tattoo on their back and they want it covered up for their wedding day. And I've gone in with corrector first because that tattoo, no matter how much foundation I put on it, it's going to show through. So that's tip number one, always use a corrector. I feel like also if we don't have enough sleep, if we haven't drank enough water, correctors are going to help hide all of that. If we've had too much of Lorraine's wine, we want to hide all that, you know. It does not help with puffiness though, but I'll tell you another trick that will. So if you've had a little too much of Lorraine's wine, or maybe you overindulged in a lot of carbs like I did on Thanksgiving, you're feeling a little poofy under the eye area. So this goes into, we're going away from the color wheel. Now we're going to talk about light versus dark. So light will typically bring things out, whereas dark will bring things in. So when you hear the term highlighting, that's what people are talking about. They're talking about bringing things out and then contouring is bringing things in, making us look a little darker, a little deeper, right? So if we have a little puffiness, what you'd want to do is take maybe more of a detailed brush, something like this where you can get really detailed. Or I have like a small little, I have 1,000 brushes, but I have like a little pencil style brush. And we'd want to take a lighter, 1 to 2 shades lighter than our natural skin tone. You could go crazy with the white, wouldn't recommend doing that. But then you would go in and you would take wherever your crease is and you would pop that lighter shade right in the crease. I like to pat it in with my finger. And then I would continue on with my concealer or my foundation over that. So that's if you have a little puffy eye. Also eye creams, also a cool roller, also the good old fashioned spoon in the refrigerator. Cucumbers, that'll all help too. But if you've all done all that and you're still a little puffy, that little trick will help also. So let's see what else. Okay. Kim asked about tinted moisturizer or foundation. So tinted moisturizer, I love. I wear that most of the normal times of my life, unless I want to, do full glam. But you can also do full glam with tinted moisturizer. Kim, let me ask you, what tinted moisturizer are you using?
I'm gonna go get it.
Okay.
Let me see. Because I think it's moisturizer. I don't know. Let me go see.
Okay. Okay.
You go ahead and go forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have this one, Morgan.
Oh, Image. Yeah. Image is a good one. They reformulated it though. And
yeah.
Is that the new one and it's really thick?
This one's not thick.
Okay. Yeah. Because they reformulated their tinted moisturizer and it was super thick. And I was like, oh, oof. But they might have changed
sunscreen too. Yeah. It has the 30 SPF on it.
So ones that I like, I turned Olivia on to Color Science. Color Science is one of my favorites. It's not a tinted moisturizer though. It is just a tinted sunscreen. So you still need to wear a moisturizer under it. Yep. Olivia's wearing it right now. If y'all want to know why Olivia's skin is glowing, 1, she gets hydrofacials, but 2, she's also 32, 33. And then 3, she wears Color Science. Kim, what's your tinted moisturizer?
It's Clinique Moisture Surge Sheer Tint Hydrator Broad Spectrum SPF 25.
Okay. And you feel like that's a little thick?
It doesn't, it just feels like it just sits there. It doesn't feel creamy. And I was wondering, maybe I've used too much. Maybe I put too much on.
Yes.
How do you apply it?
Yes.
Clinique tends to run thick. Okay.
Yes.
That might be my problem.
Yes. Also, are you exfoliating before do you exfoliate it all at home?
Yeah.
Okay. So good.
Yeah, I do I do a lot of cleansing. So it's not dirty or anything like that. Like,
Yeah, no. Exfoliating meaning, are you removing, like, are you doing like once a week to like help to remove dead skin and things like that?
yeah, my
Okay,
face, it gets flushed. I used
good,
to, yeah, no,
good.
I
So yes,
flush it out.
Clinique tends to definitely run thick. So a couple things you could do. One, with our foundation, I usually recommend I say about between a dime and a nickel size might be too much. I would say a dime size of product. Let me demo. And then I still, till this day, even on myself, put it on the back of my hand. Again, to warm it up. Another tinted moisturizer that I really like is the It Cosmetics, the CC cream. I use this a lot on clients. This is another really popular one. So this is really light. So hopefully, well, and actually it looks pretty neutral to my skin, but this might be too much. This is probably, again, I think this is too much,
Yeah.
but that is, and then I put it on the back of my hand. And then I take a brush that looks like this, kind of a flat kabuki style is what they call it. And I would put it in the product, get the brush all saturated. And then I would go in and put it on my face. And I concentrate on the center of my face first, because that's typically where we need the most coverage. And then I shear it out to the other parts. I really should have done a no makeup today, so I could have shown you guys, but
I get what you're doing.
I would go in the middle of my face first and then blend it out.
Okay.
Don't forget the MAC.
Yeah, and it could be the brand is like just too, I don't like a lot of makeup, but I want some kind of coverage.
Yeah.
And so that's why tinted moisturizer has felt like the best, because it's less thick. But I think maybe the brand is maybe.
Yeah, so maybe add, if you have another moisturizer, maybe do half moisturizer, half that product, and shear it out a little bit as well. But I feel like putting it on the back of my hand always helps. Now, that being said, do I sometimes, if I'm in a hurry, do a couple of pumps on my face and put it on like a moisturizer? Absolutely, did that this morning. In a perfect world, I put it on the back of my hand and pat it. So pat it on your face. Don't rub. Okay, because rubbing takes it away. I like to spackle first to apply, and then when I want to blend, I'm using that like wiping circular motions.
Okay.
In my makeup lessons, a lot of times you will find I will always talk about pressing it into the skin before blending it. Okay, so then we've corrected. Another thing that a lot of people want to know, I already answered, is the difference between corrector and concealer. So we kind of talked about corrector. Everyone on the same page with corrector? We good? Wonderful. So then concealer is just a thicker version of a foundation. With our concealer, we want to typically go 1 to 2 shades lighter than our foundation color, depending on what we're doing. If we're using it under the eyes, if we're using it, to brighten, we want to go 1 to 2 shades lighter. If we're using it to cover up a pimple or we want a little bit more coverage, then it should just be the same shade or 1 shade lighter than your foundation color. Sometimes I have ones that are the same color, just again, because I want a little bit more coverage. So a couple little tricks that I'm going to share. These are some makeup artist tips for us to enhance our appearance. So here's a couple of things that I like to do. I like to take my concealer, and when I'm doing my under eye, when I'm doing my under eye, I'm just applying my concealer right here in the corner. I'm not doing it all over. Right here in the corner, because I want to brighten this area. Then here's a tip for us when our eyes start to go, we want to have it look like that, right? You take your concealer and you just do it up like this. So I'm doing it from the corner all the way up here, and I'm doing it right in here. Gone are the days of that Instagram triangle that we did. So we're doing this. We're leaving all this area open, and then we're putting it up here as well. But then we're going to go in and we're going to blend it all together. But we're just using less product, and that will help with some of the creasing. Okay, so that's one way to make our eyes look lifted, is to apply that concealer up here and just starting at the corner and moving it up. Another trick that I just learned from Makeup by Mario, who's Kim Kardashian's makeup artist, and I've been trying it and I like it because I tend to get a little heavy eyelids. Like, that's just genetics, what happens. And then also if I have too much of Lorraine's yummy wine, I start to be a little. So I've been starting to put a little bit of my lighter shade concealer right above my brow bone to help lift it, because again, light brings things up and out. So I've been putting it up here. You could also put it here on the brow bone as well, but for me, I have a different shaped eye, so I don't really do that. I just leave it bare. So you can put it up here to help lift. Some people do it on the center of their nose to make their nose look a little bit more slender. Some people put it right here. If they've got like a really big divot right here, I'll pop a little concealer right here to kind of bring that out. Another fun trick, I started to notice in photos and things, my mouth is starting to droop. I mean, I tell you what, all this collagen. So another trick is you put it on the corner of your mouth like this, and you stop it at about here, and that will just help our mouth look a little, it looks a little jokerish when we start. So I'm gonna go crazy, guys. I'm gonna use a white so you guys can see what I'm talking about. My clients today are gonna be like, what did you do? But I'll blend it out. So I'm gonna take my white. So like that. Right here. And right there. That's what I'm talking about. So you can kind of almost cut the corner of your mouth to lift it. Do I look crazy? Yes, I do. Okay. So these are the areas to help the lift. But see how it just automatically just kind of lifted my face a little bit just with those little things, adjustments, and then I would go in and blend it out, which I'm going to do right now. So I don't look crazy all day. I might look crazy all day. Oh well. I'm gonna have to do the other side. Okay. Cool. Any questions on that? No, we good? Okay. Where are we at on time? Okay, good. We still have some time. And if anybody has questions, please let me know. So then the other thing is cream products. So Coraline had asked about Jones Road, which again is definitely more cream based. Again, I hate to keep harping on this. We are all of a certain age range. Creams are what I typically will recommend, especially if you have drier skin, dehydrated skin, which there's a difference. Dry is lacking oil. Dehydrated is lacking water. We're probably all dehydrated right now. I know I am. That usually will tend to look, or excuse me, your skin will start to feel tight. So whenever I have a client comes in, she's like, I'm dry. I go, are you dry tight or are you dry flaky? And she'll say, I'm dry tight. And I'll say, then you're more dehydrated. And that doesn't mean drink more water. Yes, of course, that means drink more water. But that also means use more hydrating products like a hydrating serum. Maybe it's time to switch up your moisturizer, especially in the winter months. And our skin tends to get more dehydrated in the winter months when we're using the heaters and fires and drinking more wine and having more indulgences. But if you're dry flaky, that is something that you are actually born with. You do not produce as much oil as an oily skin. So that is where you're a little bit more flaky. But I recommend cream products for most dehydrated, dry clients or people that want that glowy Olivia look. Yes, she's always glowing. So cream blushes are beautiful. Cream contours are beautiful. And I like to use that. And I also feel like it just gives more of a natural appearance too. So I'll usually recommend that for more of people like 40 and above. I'll usually recommend cream products for them because powder products, not that they're bad, but they can tend to look cakey. They can tend to not blend as beautifully. So that's why I love creams, and your skin will just feel better and look more glowy. Creams there is a little bit of a learning curve to a cream. So again, I'm just gonna do it for my cream products here. I'm at work, so I have like my whole makeup drawer. If my business were to ever go on fire, this would be the one thing I would save before anything else. Everything else can go up in flames, but my toolkit. You guys have seen it that have been here, so you all know what I'm talking about. Oh, this is well used and loved. So this is like a cream highlighting blush combo. These are some fun cream blushes. It's iconic. These are fun. You just they're squeezy, so you can just pop them on your hand and use them. I love a good contour stick. This is real deep. This is real deep, but this is a contour stick. You would never want to go in like that. Oh God, when I see those people on YouTube do it, I'm like, ah, you're going to spend all day blending, all day. So you put it on the back of your hand and then use a brush to apply it to your face. Don't ever go in like that. You'll be there all day. So you'd want to put them on the back of your hand. Again, take a brush that has maybe some synthetic and natural bristled brushes, or excuse me, combo, meaning this. It's got your natural here, your synthetic on top. Same with this. I love this, is like my favorite. So I'm just going to use that for the blush and just pop that on. That didn't work. Okay.
Are those the thick? Are those brushes the ones that are, you know how like some are like really thick and then some are really soft, I guess? I don't know how to describe it, but
yeah, like more, this is definitely more dense.
yeah.
So I would use this more as a foundation. This is a little bit more pliable. So this is why I like to use it as either a tinted moisturizer or for blush. The easiest thing for when I'm contouring, which I will show you guys here shortly, is I like to use something a little bit more detailed. Yeah, these are the same exact brushes. Clearly I have a type. So yeah, I like to use more of a detailed brush. I am not going to use that deep tone on me for contouring because that would just be crazy. So I'm going to use a little. So I'll use, with contouring, I went from cream blush. Okay, any questions about cream blush? We good? Okay. Contouring, here's a mistake I see a lot, and I've done it to myself. I will never forget one time when I was like, this was when contour colors were really ashy because we went from bronzer, like the J.Lo Glow, the real bronzy look, which is a little too orange, and sparkly. Bronzers are sparkly, contour, there is no sparkle. So if you ever see a product that has sparkle in it, that is for bronzing and glow. That is not for contour. We do not contour, or we don't naturally contour with sparkle unless you're a unicorn. So I like to use, again, a foundation or concealer color that is still my undertone, so cool, warm, neutral, but 1 to 2 shades lighter, or excuse me, 1 to 2 shades darker than my foundation color. Okay, so for concealer, 1 to 2 shades lighter, contour, 1 to 2 shades darker. You don't want to go, this would be way too cool on me and also way too dark. But see, and then this is, it's darker, little warmer than I would do, but this one would be okay for a contour. This would be on somebody like, who's the chick on Wicked right now? Cynthia, whatever her name is. This would be, she's very cool. You can still be very dark and very cool. She's a very cool complexion. Nicole Kidman is extreme opposite. She's very cool. Jennifer Lopez, very warm, right? So that's just to give you guys an idea. So when you're going in to look for foundation, you're looking at your undertone, warm, cool, neutral, and then you're looking at the actual shade, light, medium, dark, whatever. So for contouring, not all faces are the same. If you have like a 5 head, if you have a large forehead, what you'd want to do to minimize that is you'd want to put your contour color around your forehead. So you can see how it kind of makes my forehead appear a little bit smaller. If If you have a small forehead, don't do that. Don't do that. You don't need to. If you have a jawline that maybe you have a little bit of a rounder face or a square face, you want to create that contour, or you want to slim your face, there's two ways of doing it. If we want to slim, we're going to go underneath our jawline here. But if we want to create more of a contour, we're going to bring it up a little bit. Okay? So underneath here is going to remove, okay, I'll just say it. It's going to remove the chin. It's going to remove what we want to, kind of diminish. But if we want to create more of that like ovally face, then we're going to bring it up just a little bit, if that makes sense. And then if we want to create that beautiful cheekbone, what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top of our ear, and we're going to bring that color, that contour shade right. So before it used to be, we wanted to go underneath the contour, but now we're in that 35 to 45, 55 age range, and we want to lift it a little bit. So we're going to go under here, but we're also going to go on top. So it's almost like we're right above where that divot would be, but we're a little bit in the divot too. If we wanted to slim, we go right into that divot. But if we want to lift and slim, we're going to go into the divot and also a little bit above. And we want to end it right outside of our pupil. Do not bring it all the way in. That will look way too masculine and not natural. So we want to stop it right out here. So when I worked for Bare Essentials way back in the day, it used to be the 3, which you can do, right? But if you have, if you don't need to contour your forehead, you don't need to that's where I see a lot of people, they don't need to contour their forehead and they're still doing it. It's like, forehead's fine, your forehead's fine, don't contour it. But so then you can just maybe do a C. So, again, not all faces are the same. And some people I've seen, they do their jawline down here, and I'm like, you don't have a double chin or whatever, a gobble neck or anything like that. You don't need to do that. But if you want to create more of that like oval tone or circle, or maybe you have too round of a face or you don't like that, which everyone's beautiful, but you can bring it up a little bit. Does that make sense? One other trick I will share again. So we've highlighted up here. Another way to kind of give us that snatch look is putting a little contour right above that highlight, because then it just, again, accentuates that lifted tone because it's light against the dark. Any questions on that? All right. So in the last couple of minutes, I've got like 5 minutes left. A few things. Your brows, keep them soft. Brows frame the face. Do not forget to do your brows. And then setting our makeup. So setting makeup, I go back and forth. I say set your makeup strategically. I don't typically use powder on my face a regular day, but that's where you can get your creasing. So if you want to prevent creasing, you'll take, here's a fun trick. Take a loose powder or a very, very finely milled pressed powder. And ones I like, Laura Mercier, she has great powders. NARS has really nice powders. Huda Beauty has nice powders. I actually really like Lady Gaga's powders, but I'll just use the NARS. This is a great a great setting. It's their iridescent one. And this is what I like to do. Kim, I'll get to your question here shortly. So I will take my pressed powder or my loose powder, get my makeup brush on it, tap off my excess, and then I spray it with a little setting spray. And then I pop it on the areas that I want to set. Yep. And that will help with, but you want to make sure you have removed any creases before you set your makeup. That is key. So remove creases, and I literally will do it with my fingers to help warm it, and then I just pop that powder in the areas that I want to set. Nose, chin, areas I get shiny, or my under eyes. Lastly, Kim asked how you clean your brushes. So you want to clean your brushes, your personal makeup brushes. The ideal is once a month. Do I do that? No. But I try to. I literally set a reminder. I have found that what I like to do is I will buy, for the quickest thing, I will buy Cinema Secrets, Korean Spirit. These you can both buy on Amazon. Put your brushes in there to help break up that makeup. And then I use that you can buy it at Trader Joe's. I bought it online, but the cast style soap is great. Trader Joe's has it too. So what I'll do is I'll put my brushes in a cup. I'll literally do it right now because I need to because I use these brushes. So I will take my Parisian Spirit or my Cinema Secret. Thanks, Tracy. A little tiny bit. You don't want to soak it past the metal part of the brush. So you just want to get the bristles in there. And then you can use that. And then you just kind of dip them in there. You don't want to leave them in there too long. And then I just take them out, wipe them off. And then I'll take my soap, maybe in a different cup, fill it up with water, work them in there. And then I let those sit in there. And then I will, because that'll help kind of absorb some of the makeup. And then I'll scrub them. And you want to make sure you rinse them until there's no soapy feeling, because I've done that. And then my brushes are crap. Okay, I could go on and on and on and on and on. Maybe we need like a full Thriving Thursday or a makeup lesson, a 3-hour makeup lesson. Nicole's been to mine at the Jacqueline. But yes, if you guys want to book a makeup lesson, or if you're wondering what to get for Christmas, or you want something for Christmas that you don't know what, a makeup lesson could be it.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. The lesson that you did at the Jacqueline, I had like 4 pages of notes. And I taped them inside of my medicine cabinet so I could look what I was learning.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Yes. I mean, my parents were both teachers. So yes. So I love teaching. But thank you, Cam. And thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you got something out of it.
This is really cool.
Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah. Real quick, Corlin, what's one thing that you learned?
The cream is okay. Yeah, the whole like lifting thing, that is like a whole game changer. And I'm probably gonna talk to you about, like, I have no, like, I'm scared to order the Jones Road stuff because I'm like, I don't know what color to order, because especially I got this like reddish complexion that I didn't have, but my mom always had, and I was like, so I guess it just happens with age. So
genetic, yes. Yeah. Lorraine, what's one thing you learned?
It's funny about like putting even lotion of the different things on your hand and then putting it on a brush and that, because I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Awesome. Nicole. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I just want to ask, wait, so Nicole, say your thing, and then I want to know, like, okay, like the most minimal thing we could do, so okay, Nicole, go ahead.
Oh, just more about how you clean your brushes. That one I didn't know, like, because they sell all these like things you can use and you don't really need to spend the money. So that was awesome.
Nope. Yeah.
Oh, I need to add one thing. Cleaning your face twice. Had no idea. So that one had no idea. Yeah.
It's very important. Very important. Olivia, what was your one thing?
I had never heard about the above the eyebrow highlight, and this. I'm a big like contour highlight fan. I mean, working on television, I did all my own makeup, so I love all the little tricks. Or like, I love to highlight right here on my Cupid's bow because it makes the lip look a little bigger.
So try contour down here and try contour there, and then see what happens, because it'll give you that little lip without the flip.
Yeah, but I didn't know this, and when you did the demonstration with the white above your eyebrow, I was like, oh, that was like an instant lift. So that
Makeup by Mario. I learned that literally like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, okay, Mario, okay. So Corlin, what is one quick thing? One quick thing is corrector. Honestly, if you buy a corrector, sometimes I'll just do a corrector and I don't need anything else. outside of that, a tinted moisturizer. So sometimes when I'm like going and running errands and I don't, but it never fails. Ladies, we're all business owners. Do you ever run out of your house and you look like shit and you run into somebody that you know or a client? You're like, damn it!
Yeah.
So
Only when I look like shit. Only.
All the time. And I'm like, I'm a makeup artist. Or they're like, oh, Morgan, you're my esthetician. Here's my friend. And I'm like, oh God. Like, I also have, really quick, I have another story that's really funny. When I was in college, I was super hungover. I worked at a tanning salon. This was before I became a makeup esthetician. And I was hungover and I looked like crap and I was wearing a bandana. I had like really short hair. I was wearing a bandana, sweatshirt, looked like ass, did not shower, didn't have makeup on. I went to work. Okay, this is before I was in college and I go to get frozen yogurt because I loved frozen yogurt. And I will never forget, I was standing there ordering and all of a sudden I hear, Morgan. I turn around. It is my ex-boyfriend who was like, men were intimidated by him. He was beautiful. With his new girlfriend, Barbie. Her literal name was Barbie. And she was blonde and beautiful and and I was just like, don't turn around. And he's like, Morgan, is that you? And I was like, oh God. So ever since then, I'm like, never leave the house without anything on. So if all else fails, I'll just do a tinted moisturizer and a couple little under eye corrector. That's it. And you'll feel like $1 million.
I can't speak highly enough for the Color Science products too. I love that. Well, I know that it's not a tinted moisturizer, but the tinted SPF from Color Science, it's like replaced my foundation or like I think I was using like a CC cream or a BB cream before, and I love it. Highly recommend.
That's all I'm wearing today too. So it's the Color Science, and I mean I also have other stuff on, but that and like my corrector and then blush and contour. So and eye makeup. But yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad that you guys came. Thank you for showing up and participating. And I hope you learned something. I'm glad everyone learned something. I hope this was beneficial. Again, I could go on and on and on and on, but hopefully you guys got something out of it and it was educational.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Have a great day.